Hello, how are you? This is our 2020 planning and goal setting diary. So I used to do, when we were party planning, I used to do a lot of training around planning and goal setting and reaching your goals, and I've done nothing with it in the last 5 years. Now it's all together in a book. It's all pretty. I did realize after I did the cakes cover, because that's the design I really like, this is going under the Christmas tree after I've done this video. We have done a fruit design as well, because I do realize some of you are going to have plans and goals around losing weight, and you probably don't want cakes on the front. If you do, you can choose the cakes one. If you don't, you can choose the fruits one. So I have taken that into account. So planning and goal setting diary. I have put my notes in the front here because I know not everyone's going to see this video or have done previous work with me on planning and goal setting. I have put these reference pages in here as well, as far as I really want you to set goals and understand your goals and plan your goals throughout the year, not just one willy-nilly half-assed goal, as we call them. I've referred to that up here. So not one thing that you're like, oh yeah, maybe I might hit it, maybe not, we'll see how we go. I really want you to have a goal that you've thought through, you've done the reflection pages, which I'll show you in a sec. You set the goal for the year, then you actually focus on each quarter. You break it down into the quarters. What do I need to do this quarter to achieve this goal? Then in the quarters, each month, we sit down and what do I need to do this month to reach the goals this quarter? And then our weekly steps. So little things that we need to do to reach the goals that we've set for the month, which in turn will reach these goals and allow us to achieve what we want to achieve this year. So I'm talking in December, it's what, the 10th or 12th? So I'm referring to next year being 2020, yeah? And then we have our daily tasks. Now, not every day you're going to have something that works towards that goal. For some plans, for some goals you will, for others you won't. You may just need to do one thing per week that will get you a step closer to that goal. So that's going to depend on what your goals are. They will look different. Not everything will apply to every single goal. So let's run through at the top there. How are you going to set a goal to start with? This is probably the biggest thing that we mess up with goal planning as well, if you don't know what you want. So that's a big thing for me. I want to sit down with this book over the holidays and actually go through some goals with my kids as well, which at the moment, thinking about it, I can't think of a family goal right now. So I do want to go through those reflection pages with the kids and actually set something together. But for me right now, I can't set a goal because I don't actually know what I want to achieve. I just haven't set that time aside to find that out, think about it, talk about it with the kids and come up with something. So that's what we need to do first. And that's why these pages here. So we've got our reflections, personal, and I've put personal first because as mums, we tend to drive what's going on within the family and be the organizer. If that's not you, if you want to skip the personal ones and go to family, use it how you want to, but don't, I would try as best as you can to use each page, even if it's annoying and a little bit of double handling, just to really pull apart your goals and what you want. A big one for us, the speech she asked us at the end of COVID last year, I think it was, and she was like, what do you want to keep with the changes that have been going on? And no one's ever asked me that question before. I thought that was a really interesting question. So our reflections from there have taken that into account, what we really loved in 2021, so this year, what I liked, what I will keep, what I will change, what I'd like to learn, what I'd like to try, what I'd like to do for myself this year, being 2020, what I'd like to do for my family this year, what I'd like to do for others this year. Some of these will apply, some of these won't, some of these will, you may be very clear on your goals and it's got nothing to do with learning something. Completely fine, skip the question, yeah? But they're there, or change the question if that suits you better. They're there to prompt you. So I wouldn't be so methodical that you go and fill everything out just because you feel you have to. They're there to prompt you and to give you direction when setting your goals, yeah? So we've also broken it down. Some will do better planning this way, some will do better this way, and some for both. So how did it look in 2020 as far as your health went, as far as business and career, family, friends, finances, personal development, fun and recreation, spiritual, volunteering, and self-care? See, you may have 3 areas that you're focused on, but you completely neglected yourself, didn't think about anyone else. That's something I'm really trying to be a bit more aware of. being so busy, being a single mum with 2 kids with ASD, it's very easy to get so caught up in your own world. To be able to find little things where I could give back, and given the experience I have, I could help someone this way. So I've put that in there as well, just to try and think. Sometimes we get so caught up in what we're doing that you lose focus and perspective of how your life is. Whereas giving back, being around other people, helps, calibrate your life, I suppose. I found that anyway. Again, you can take it or leave it, but they've deliberately been put in there to, think about, see where you're at, see where you could do better, see where, particularly self-care as well. We tend to neglect ourselves a lot as mums, to focus on even just little things each week, each day, each month, something I can do for me to keep my tank full as well. Yeah, not to be selfish, but you can't give out of an empty tank. Yes, if you're so depleted, your family's going to end up paying for it. This one, I love this one. My coaches taught me this, and I just find, particularly at this time of year, there's so many things going on. So Missy's graduating this year, going into high school. There's appointments, there's business stuff, there's helping friends move house, all these things going on. And I can often get quite overwhelmed and then not know what to prioritize in my day. So this is a really good one. I'm going to do it again in January, but quarterly as well, as far as in each box, one thing in each box, to just get it out of your brain, and then you go through and color code it and then prioritize it. So you could fill up 2 pages, but really all I need to focus on this week to, keep myself intact, keep my family intact, is these 3 things, and just identifying what those things are. And sometimes you can have 10 little things stress you out when you need to actually go, no, I need to let those things go. We need to focus on this one thing because that's more important. So I just find this activity really good for that. You can use sticky notes, highlighters, colors, however you choose to do it. I have colored the page, but that's just because I wanted to make it interesting, not boring. So you can use the colors on the page if you want to. I hope that makes sense to you. I find this a really good and valuable activity to set your priorities as well. Now this is purely on others. So what can you do for others in 2020? Others could be family, extended family, it could be volunteering, it could be random acts of kindness, whatever you want that to mean. What's something you can do, whether it's 1 thing a month, 3 little things a month, and just to start getting you thinking about others and how your life can impact others around you, particularly when you're so busy and stressed. It does help. I mean, not so much to add more things to your to-do list, but again, to be able to give something back so it's not just all busy, me. Yeah? So you got that one. Looking forward, what do I want 2022 to look like? So we've done this one here. So what did it look like in 2021? How do we want that to look different here? So if I neglected myself here, which a big thing for me, I do spend time at the gym, so that is my health and fitness, getting out of the house and looking after my mental health. But I also, a big one for me, when I do hit my goals or whatever, I don't reward myself. So I don't take the time to enjoy what I've worked towards. So that would be a self-care one for me that I would probably spend a bit more time or focus on this year, or even just being aware of, even if I don't set my goal around this, just something to be aware of throughout the year. Yeah. And the good thing about this, you've got all your planning and everything else here. You've got all these goals and reflection sheets in the beginning, so you can refer back to them. So from the work that we've done in these pages, we then set our personal goals. So I'm going to jump back to this page. So when we're setting our goals, we want to firstly know what we want. So after doing those reflection pages, you should be a bit more clear there. We want to set smarter goals. So our smarter goals are being specific, so knowing what you want and not setting those willy-nilly half-assed goals. So we don't ever want to be setting goals that we haven't got an action plan for actually achieving. So we do cover that in a sec. Yeah, so we want to break it down. We want it to be measurable. So you want to have a specific date. You want to know how it's going to look when you've achieved your goals. You want your time frames and you want your clear steps. So you want to be able to go, all right, I've hit June this year. Have I reached half of my goal? So say it was a weight loss goal of 10 kilos. Have I got around that 5 kilo mark? Or if I want to read 50 books, am I around the 25 book mark? Does that make sense? Or if I'm saving for a certain amount, have I reached about that 50% mark? So how are you going to measure this goal that you've set? Is it agreed? So are you working on this goal with your family or your partner? Do they agree to the goal and do they agree to the steps? Or have you set a goal that you're expecting your family to be on board on, but they know nothing about, in which case you're setting yourself up for failure? Does that make sense? We want to be realistic. So what statistics have you based your goal on? If you want to read 100 books this year, how many books can you actually read in a week? If you can only read one book or half a book in a week, then setting a goal for 100 books, you're just setting yourself up for failure. Yes, and there's just no point in doing that. You don't need to fail in another area of your life kind of thing. There's already enough washing and dishes and whatever else to do to disappoint you. You don't need to set goals that will do the same thing. Yeah, we want to set realistic goals, even if you pull that right back to something that right now looks like you'll achieve easily. As you're getting used to this process, that may be a good place to start. Yeah, does that make sense? It's annoying that I'm not doing this live. I'm not getting any feedback. Anyway, if it doesn't make sense or if you have questions around this, feel free to PM us at Little Wooden Toy Box and I will answer you. So statistics, is it humanly possible? If you've got a financial goal, like, does it actually fit in with your income, or do you need to get a separate job? Or, that's going to depend on who you are and what you're doing. Have you given yourself a realistic time frame? So maybe if you're set on a certain amount, you may need to extend it over an 18-month goal. Yeah? Time bound. So set a clear time to reach your goal. So setting the time is just as important. Otherwise, you're just going to procrastinate each week, each month, and think, oh, I'll just hit that next month. Whereas if you've got your set goal, you've actually got something to work towards. Set time for your goal. Be ethical. So this one, may not apply depending on what your goal is. Are you supporting and encouraging others around you in setting this goal? So I guess that's more, make sure you're not stomping on someone else's dreams or setting a goal in order to spite someone else. Yes? So you're setting this goal for you or you and your family together. Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Yeah, and recorded. So how do you know you are on track for reaching your goal? So that's why we're recording our goals in the next part of this. Common mistakes in goal setting, which I've pretty much covered through going through all that. If it's too big, if it's not specific, if you've got too many goals, that's why we want to keep 1 to 3 goals for the year. If it's not written down, because then you forget or you do bits of it or you can't remember what it was, or then it's not important anymore, we want it written down and we want to be able to refer to that regularly. Not planned out, so we'll go through that as well, and not based on realistic figures. Now, there will be some goals, particularly in business, where you want to reach a certain, or you're scaling your business or whatever else, reach a certain goal. There are some points, particularly when you're growing, that you'll feel like you're playing with Monopoly money. And I've done that for years, but I've still set the goals. And then you find out as you go, okay, that's not realistic. We do need to adjust that. So you're not meeting your goal as such. You're just having to adjust based on more realistic figures, which you may not have had those figures to start with. I hope that makes sense. So we're going to set a goal. We're going to make a plan. We're going to get to work. We're going to stick to it, and we will reach our goal. Yes? All right. We're going to record the goals. Sorry, you can't see that. So we're going to also see the bigger picture, which I put this visual in here because I find that helps me. Hopefully it helps you as well. Seeing that we're setting the bigger picture up the top, but also breaking it down into steps that we're actually going to take each week, day, month, quarter. Yeah? And obviously the steps are going to look smaller each day, a little bit bigger for the week, and then bigger and bigger as we get to the top. Yeah, we need to break it right down. Do it. So get out of your comfort zone. That'll be a big thing for a lot of you. Don't be afraid of failure. If you fail often and fail well, and when you failed so many times, like I have in business as well, you get used to it and it becomes a part of how you do things. It's just, my coach said this to me once as well, have your time to sit down, cry, go cry in the shower, whatever it is that you do, but get back up again. So allow yourself that time for that disappointment, because you're human. You do need to process your emotions, but get back up and try again. Yeah, and learn from it. Like, what did I learn from this mistake? What can I do differently? How am I going to plan that differently tomorrow, next week, whatever, so that I can achieve this? Yeah. That's a part of reflecting and recording your progress as well. What would you do differently, if anything, or what did you do well? And then reset and adjust as needed. Yeah, remember you're human. You are. We're not doing this and setting goals to then feel bad because we haven't met them consistently. Yeah. So, I mean, there's no point setting a goal if you're not planning to put the work in, but be aware that life happens. Things happen, things pop up, and yes, sometimes our dreams and goals do have to be put on hold for a little bit. So take that into account as well. Yes. And if you know that you've got a crazy year coming up, then take that into account when you're planning to, and don't be unrealistic or put a huge amount of pressure on yourself that's then going to wear you thin, wear your family out. Take all that into account. Yeah. And then life could look completely rosy right now, and then, January happens. Don't be too hard on yourselves, yeah? Okay, so we have now got our setting our personal goals. Now, I'd recommend 1 to 3, probably 2 to 3 goals a year. Some of you will have 2 or 3 personal goals and no family goals. Some of you will have maybe 2 or 3 family goals and no personal, maybe, not sure. Some of you will have a mix of both. So I've included 2 pages. They're exactly the same, depending on which way you want to mix that up. Yeah. So my personal goal, I would put this in here based on the work that I've done. What does it look like once this goal is achieved? So we actually want to, what would be an example? Have I used weight loss yet? Weight loss, you're 10 kilos. The scales are going to be 10 kilos lighter. Yes? So it doesn't have to be anything profound in there. As far as if it was a business sort of goal, or how would your life look if you, what are some normal other goals? Maybe working on like a personal development thing. Like, what would you be able to do once you've learned this course? Say, I'm thinking off the top of my head here. What time frame do I need to achieve this goal? What smaller goals do I need to set each quarter? So we're actually breaking it down here now. So we've got our big goal. What does it look like in a quarter? What is my quarterly goal to reach this goal? Then we do the same for the month, and then the week, and then what do I need to do daily? On what date will I complete this goal? This is recording. So we're recording our date that we're working towards. And what will I do to celebrate reaching this goal, and who will I celebrate with? This is important. This is the one that I do all of this, and then I just, we've done that. Let's go to the next one. Celebrate your goals. Reward yourself. Yes? This one's exactly the same as that one, because presumably you would have a different goal there. Now we would do that reflection with the family. I wasn't even going to put this in here. It was one of my friends that said, because they follow the barefoot investor way of saving, and and they said, set the goals with your family so that, particularly if it's a financial goal or saving up for a holiday with your kids, every time they ask for Macca's or Subway in this house, you can say, no, we need to put that money aside for this goal that we're working on. So it actually teaches them the value of money as well, and something to work towards together. This is an example of a goal that just didn't end up working out for us. We were, from the beginning of January last year, I think it was, we were aiming to get a dog in June. So during COVID, we went for walks every day. We're really great at that. But then after lockdown, life happened and we just got too busy. So we were going to get this dog on the condition that every day we went for a walk. So that was if we go back here, what we're doing daily and weekly. So say 5 walks a week. Sorry, battery's going flat. Now, as it turned out, life got busy again with school, after school activities, friends, whatever else, that we were no longer going on walks every week. So that was a good indication to us that adding a puppy to the family probably wouldn't work as we thought it would. So then we readjusted the goal, and I can't remember what we went for instead, but do that as well. Keep that in mind as well, that how you thought life would look, particularly after a certain season, may not be how it looks in the next 6 months. And my kids are going through that preteen teenager stage. Their social life changes too. Yeah. Okay. I can't remember how I got onto that, but there. So what we loved in 2021, what we liked. So doing that same activity that you did personally here, doing it with your kids, partner, yeah, whoever you live with. and then doing the health, business, family, friends, finances, all those different areas of life, how it looked with your family this year, so 2021, what we can do for others as a family in 2022, and how we want life to look. Yeah, I'm actually really interested to see what my kids come up with on this one. And then we're setting our family goals. Yeah, so they are the same questions as when we set the goals personally. It's just we instead of I. So we've got the 2 goals there. Now we're recording our goals. Yeah, so this is our first quarter moving forwards next year. We've got our 3 goals for the year. Mine will probably be 2 personal and a family one. How am I going to, or what does that look like as far as breaking it up for the quarter? So over the next 3 months, January through to March, what goals, like what does it look like? Yeah, what smaller goals do I need to achieve to reach these bigger ones? And we do that for January, February, and March. Hang on. Yes, sorry. So our goal 1, breaking it up into the quarter. Goal 2, breaking it up into the quarter. Goal 3. Yeah. Then we've got our dates that we want to complete these smaller goals and how we're going to reward ourselves. Put your notes at the bottom there. And then I'll go quicker from now on. We've got our monthly planner. So our goals that we've come up with here, our smaller ones, which ones we're focusing on for the month, your priorities for the month. So you're going to have these goals throughout the year, but life is still going to happen. Things that you need to get done, whether that's, you know, things for your kids' school, things for if you're studying, assignments due, whatever else, that's going to go in here. Habits to track, if that is what you're working on or fits with what you're working on, skills to learn, and you can still have these things even though they're not a part of your goals. Yeah, they could just be little things that you're working towards, things to remember. And what can I plan to do each day this month that brings me joy? So we don't want you to just be ticking the boxes all the time as you go through life. Yes, we want you to add things into your life that you actually are enjoying your life. Yeah, that sets me up for success. And acts of kindness. So just again, I find that in doing little things for something else, for someone else, you're not focusing so much on your own problems, your own life. It's a good way of calibrating your life with others. Yep. And not for the purpose of, I'm going to do this, I hope they do something back for me. So it's a no strings attached. There's something about giving your time or money or energy or making a meal for someone with no strings attached, like just giving to someone else. Something to think about. If you're not interested in that at all, ignore that bit of the planner. All right, then we've got January, February. Do you know how long it takes to date a diary? Oh my goodness, almost tipped me over the edge, this one. So this is your January, February, and March. Now, in most planners, you will have the month and then the weeks. I have deliberately put the months together. So we've got January, February, and March, so that you can see overall view of your quarter, how it looks. Yeah, we've then gone into the weekly planner. I love this way of planning. It's got my appointments at the top. It's got my kids' appointments. It's got exercise, so I put my gym classes in there. Bills due, because I forget till I get the message or the angry email. So knowing exactly for the week, this is what I need to pay on what day. The meals. So instead of having a separate meal planner, which I was going to include into this, and then I couldn't figure out how to tear it out without ruining the back page and doubling the thickness of the book, I just chucked it in here. I will actually bring bumper books out to match this as far as budgeting and food planning and whatever else goes, but that'll come next year. And then just for me, so these little bits here. So we've actually got a section, just little things. And it doesn't have to be half your day doing whatever. It could be a coffee. It could be, I find a good one that works for me because I am crazy busy and then I just get distracted and whatever else if I stop. So I will allow 15 to 20 minutes to eat and read a book, and then I get back to work. And that's enough to just recharge me, spend some time with myself, making sure I'm eating and having some water to drink, whatever else, in my day. Yeah. I could probably do a little bit more than that, but at the moment, that's, know where you're at capacity as well. So if I added more time in, that stress would then affect the rest of my day. So I'm good with that at the moment. That works for me. You may need longer, you may need shorter, you may need it to look different. Put something that's going to work for you in there. Yeah? I'm going to put my goals for the week. So this is all, we've got our yearly goals. We've then focused on our quarterly goals. We've broken them up. On our monthly one, we've put our monthly goals in. Now we're on the weekly. So they're all working towards those 3 goals that we set. So you shouldn't be bringing anything new into this. This is where your life goes. Life priorities this week, things I need to pay, things I need to buy. I find these 2 really useful, particularly my girl year 6 at the moment. She's, you know, your graduation dress, shoes. Then we went and got the dress and we forgot the shoes. So that's going to be a big one this week that I need to remember to buy and on time. Just those little things that pop up. It's not for your shopping list. That's obviously not going to fit on 3 lines there, but those bigger important things that you can't forget this week. And to remember, and your to-do list. Then you've got your daily planner. So today's tasks, top priorities today, 3 things I'm grateful for today. So again, thinking outside of the me, I'm so busy, this is all I've got to do. Just to stop and think of 3 things today that you're grateful for. This is a really good activity to do with your kids at the end of the day as well. It just seems to break that cycle of, my life is so hard, I've got so much to do. You know, things to be positive about, I suppose. And to look around you, because there's a lot to be grateful for, no matter how bad your day looks today. And some days are going to be so much harder than other days to find things you're grateful for. But I think it's really important to get into that habit, and it's good for you. Yeah. Then you've got don't forget, and you've got Monday through to Sunday there. So the rest of the planner is breaking down those weeks and days, and in here somewhere we have the reflections for the quarter, and then I will stop talking. There you go. So here is our quarterly brain dump. So everything that has happened in the past quarter, we're going to unload it all, chuck it all in there, and then go through these reflection questions for January, February, March. You can do that as you go. And this is just to check how your goals are looking. Were they realistic? Are you on track? Do you need to make some adjustments? What did you do well? What could have you done better? And what could you do differently next month? And to, you know, just calibrate, adjust those goals, and then go again for February and then March. Then we go back to our quarterly reflections. This is our second quarter, April to June. Fill that out, fill out your monthly planners, and go again. And then that is pretty much it for this one. Obviously the reflection questions on the very last page change for December, and you can see where your goals have, where you've reached your goals, how that actually looked, and then this will set you up for the 2023 planner to go back through all of these reflection questions at the beginning and reset your goals. All right, I have spoken for almost half an hour. This is probably one of my longer videos. I am done. Let me know what feedback and questions you have as well. I'm really interested in what you would change and like to do differently in next year's planner. All right, I will stop talking now. I'm going to go wrap this up and stick it under my Christmas tree. Yay. All right, I will talk to you soon. Bye.